Okay, I'm going to do a swing evaluation here today of Zach Johnson. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of him, but I do respect what he's accomplished in the game of golf. And I remember when he won the Masters for the first time, he laid up on every par five. So he really understands his game and his strengths and how to play towards those. And that's definitely something every golfer should note. You need to understand who you are and what you can do. That way you can take advantage of it. So just drawing a few lines here on the screen. We're just going to play a swing real quick just to get an idea of what he's doing. And then we'll go back and just make a few little notes of some traits that he uses. So here it goes. We can definitely see the ball starting off to the right of the target line. So that tells us he's trying to draw this back. Now, we can't get an in-front look at his grip, but if we did, we would notice that it's a very strong grip. So what I mean by that is his hands are underneath of it in a strong type style. It's easy to hood the face from there. It's easy to hit blocks and draws and all types of shots from that grip style, but he chooses to mainly draw the ball from this type of grip style. So first thing we'll look at here is his hands are pretty low. He's definitely not letting those rise up. They're probably pushed out a little bit as far as a natural hang. They're not directly hanging underneath of his shoulders there. So there's just a little bit of reach. And you can see hands and legs are kind of working together there. He's not really out of sync too much. The club itself is tracing on the original shaft line. And if we look at the club face angle at this moment, we'll use orange. We can definitely tell that that is a little shut. For instance, that's measuring at 53. If we were to measure his spine or his body angle right now, it's at 59.60. So you can see he's a little hooded of that mark. For instance, it's shut compared into relationship to that. That's mainly due to his grip and just the way he plays. We'll continue up the swing here. You can see he starts to come off his posture line a little bit. That's nothing drastic or nothing too much to worry about. People make you believe today that if you don't sit on that line, you can't hit a golf ball, which is absolutely not true. You go look at any old Jack Nicklaus footage, he never stayed on that line the entire time. And last time I checked, Jack Nicklaus was pretty good. So one reason I believe this is the case is when I look at him in setup, I feel like I could tap him on his shoulders and he would almost fall back. Like for instance, there's a lot of weight in his heels right now, which is okay. That's definitely a lot better than being toe heavy. But that's why I believe he's coming off this line early. He's really just rebalancing himself athletically like anyone would do with any type of sense of body awareness. Now the hands are quick setting, so the club is not dragging around him too much. He's definitely allowing it to get up vertical a little here. We can still see the face, so that tells us it's still in a shut position. Now as we arrive to the top, you can see the right leg has kind of calmed its action. Left leg is still working a bit. But I like his transition here as far as what his right knee is doing. So let me highlight this. If you focus just on his right knee and like where his hands are at this moment, as they arrive towards the apex, right knee is trying to transition into the downswing, creating a good flow there. That way it's hard for him to be early with his hands, and he can start the lower body action just a split second before the hands want to fall. Now if we stop him at the top, this would be classified as like a compact position. Okay, left arm's running pretty much across the shoulder line, but if you look at this right arm, it's tucked in close. There's not a lot of space from right elbow to right hip here, so he's kind of in like a little compact mode here. Head hasn't shifted too much. Everything looks under control. The wrist itself is maybe slightly cupped. That'll offset the closed face a little. Now, as we continue down, you can see his legs and knees are starting to take action. Club itself now is falling pretty similar to the original line he started on as far as parallel to it. It's definitely above it. As we continue into the shot, you can see the face now is pretty much tracking and tracing where it did on the way back. For instance, if we mark it now here, okay, if we went back to the beginning of the swing as he took off, you can see the club was pretty much trapped there during the takeaway or the initial start. So club head itself is pretty much retracing its steps as far as where it's going to start hitting from in the slot here. You know, these are good positions that he's created, you know, with his right arm here right into the side. Still has a little cock in the wrist. Left arm's out front, nothing crazy, but under control. So when we look at the face angle at this moment, remember we were 53 going back. Okay, these are just approximate, so don't hold me to it. Now we're 62. So you can see it's opened up a little bit by about 9 degrees. We can see that the head is coming down into the shot, and his head starts to back up off the ball a little as far as the front of it here, as you notice when he starts to strike. So we'll go ahead and get into the shot, or into impact per se. Now one thing you'll notice is the shaft did not return on the line it started on. Remember, we started on the yellow line. His hands have risen a little bit and the shaft has rose a little bit. So this is very common practice you'll see amongst good players. Everyone's different. Sometimes you'll see the shaft return closer to this line, but when the hands go to hit, the left wrist will firm up and create this position. So by doing so, it's easy to get a solid strike on the ball, and that's why you're seeing this shaft line rise a little bit. Now we can see that his hips are clearing a little. You know, he's definitely not firing those too hard, but we can see the left pocket just a touch, and his shoulders at this moment are still a little bit closed, or they're really pretty square to the line he's trying to send this off on, because remember, he's going to hit a big push draw. So the ball will start off right of this line, and he's wanting to draw back. Here's the flag. So he's trying to get a little bit of a push draw here back into the flag. So shoulders square to closed, hips slightly open, arms starting to extend fully into impact here. So there we go. We can see the ball starting off to the right. Now right here, he has really nice extension with his arms. For instance, nothing's like chicken winging or jamming up the shot. And he's definitely let the club head staying outside of his hands for a good amount of time here. That'll definitely help him push the ball as far as his initial flight. Now as we continue through, you can see the head staying down and through. The foot action is pretty calm. He's not really jumping out of his shoes per se, but the feet are reacting to the swing as far as the synchronization of that. So again, full extension with the arms. Club is connected to his chest. For instance, his hands and arms are not out racing his upper body turn. All of that is together. Now right here is where you start seeing something as far as a trait of his. So the club's getting vertical now. You know, it's definitely more vertical than the original plane line we were on, and there's a lot of space from left arm to left side. You know, he's holding this off per se is what I mean. So this is a way for him to counter and combat things hooking and drawing too quickly. So again, you'll see his arms kind of just hold in this mode. So the left arm is not folding yet. He's still just kind of holding that off per se. And he always had sawed off finishes. I mean, he never was like a big, long, loose finisher like a Vijay Singh or someone where the club's going to lay on his back. Everything was kind of sawed off even when he would hit longer clubs into the woods. So that's one reason he was such a good wedge player. Was kind of just that technique was like his swing with every shot, and it's definitely a good way to wedge as far as body and arms working together and not trying to use too much hands. Okay, that's Zach Johnson. Just wanted to point out some things that he does in his swing. Again, I think the best thing to learn from this guy, like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not a fan. I actually find him pretty annoying, and especially his caddy. His caddy's one of the most annoying caddies I've ever seen on tour. But as far as respect, I do have respect for this guy, and I do respect the game he played for a long time. So that's why I wanted to show these, or go over his swing. So I'm just going to clear everything, and we'll take one last look at it here in kind of slow motion, just to get a sense of how it all flows together. So we can see the face is definitely under control the whole time with that strong grip. He's not going to have to do a lot of flipping or timing with the hands. He kind of just needs to sync up the body with the arms as he's turning through here. So it's a really quiet hands type of swing, compact motions. It's not going to produce a lot of speed per se, but this type of action can definitely produce accuracy if done correctly. So I'll go ahead and finish this, and y'all have a good day now. Thank you.